totally saw you there. Good morning, afternoon, whatever. I'm Carol. You already know me probably from the Better Achiever or somewhere else. So I've been doing live streamings on this Instagram for the last 3 or 4 weeks or so or something like that. And I was, on one hand, I liked doing it, but on the other hand, I was kind of not sure about where to go from it. I'm gonna put my glasses on now, because to look that I know what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to start today is to limit myself to speaking about whatever it is in 10 minutes, because this is the maximum length of a video that I can upload to Instagram TV without having to edit it, so it's easier for everyone. And also, I think that having a time limit or some sort of limit is always good if we put that to ourselves and we understand the reasons why we're putting the limits and it's not something just arbitrary. It's good that we set ourselves boundaries and limits. It's important for creativity, although we have this image that if we have no boundaries and we have no limits and we are free to create, then creativity just flows. Actually, having perimeters and having a little bit of structure is actually more helpful. So my intention with this from now on is to talk about stuff that I've been thinking about, or things that you guys bring to me in questions, direct messages, emails, whatever you want. You can send something here. You can answer every now and then in the stories. I'm gonna put a poll or some sort of question box so you can fill that. It's always very good to have suggestions of things to talk about. And hello, Melise, bom dia. Good morning to you. Very happy to have you here. And so I'm gonna do it normally around this time of the day, because I think it's good here in the Netherlands, and it's good also in Brazil, which is a lot of people might watch me from Brazil. And so today I want to talk about something that has also to do with the fact that I'm doing this live now, which is showing up. And I watched the Netflix special from Brené Brown last night. I was looking forward to watching it, and she's amazing. If you don't know her, she is a researcher on shame and vulnerability. She's been writing books about courage and vulnerability as well. And one of the things in the end of the talk, she told a story that had a lot to do with showing up to things that were not necessarily comfortable, and they were challenging, and that would put us on the spot in a way, and that we tend to avoid doing that. And that got me thinking also, because I got here today and I got up and I was like, I don't know if I should do this, because I didn't work that much yesterday, so I don't have much clarity, and I didn't ask anyone what I'm gonna talk about, so why should I show up today? Why should I come here and say that? Hi, Pachi. And so that got me thinking, why wouldn't I show up? And while I was meditating, actually, something that happens to me a lot when I'm meditating is I have a lot of ideas while I'm meditating, which on one hand is good, because you're freeing your mind, you're paying attention to your thoughts. On the other hand, it's very shitty, because I really need to write them down when I have the idea, but then I need to kind of go back to the meditation, and I don't want to just stop the meditation to go write something down. But anyway, so I had this idea today while I was meditating of doing the 10-minute Tuesday, because there's I think it's alliteration, the name of it. There's the T and T, the 10-minute Tuesday. There's a podcast that they used to do a 5-minute Friday. So, there's this fun element to it. Also, it's good that I can restrict myself. I'm going to show you, I have a stopwatch right here. I don't know if you can see it. So I'm being mindful about my time, because I can just ramble on and talk for hours about anything. And so what about showing up is what I want to talk about today. And it's pretty much the challenge that I see that I have since I started working by myself. And I think a lot of us, people who work by ourselves for independence, or that have some sort of project that we are leading, I think we face this kind of problem very often because if we are in a company or if in a situation that we're being held accountable for someone else, that someone is actually expecting us to show up and to do whatever it is, to go to give a keynote or to say something, we're more likely to go and do it even though it's not exactly something that we want to do. But then on the other hand, when we are by ourselves and when it's our own decision, we may want to do it, but then because we don't have anyone to hold us accountable, a lot of times we don't do it even though we want to do it. And we just don't do it because, there's a zillion reasons why we don't do it. Because it's uncomfortable, because it makes us feel afraid of something, because we don't think we're good for doing that. The reflection that I'm trying to bring here is, if you had a boss, if you had someone that you would be held accountable for the things that you really want to do, what would be the chances, what would be the odds that you would actually go and do it? And with a very small example, I have these lives that I am holding myself accountable of keeping them on every Tuesday. I am reflecting a lot about being more constant in my social media presence and also in the pace of my content production. So I'm not only showing up every now and then whenever I'm inspired, but I'm also disciplining myself into doing that. Which are all things that I really want to do, but they can be very challenging sometimes. It's a lot easier to just sit and watch YouTube and read stuff or do the things that we can complain about. Oh, I was swamped in emails and I couldn't do it. But, we always have a choice of actually doing the things that we do, or most of the times we can, we can adjust the timing so we can do what we actually want to do. And why don't we do it? So there's a lot of things that prevent us from showing up and doing the things that we really want to do. And one of them is very simple, and I mentioned before, and it is the accountability factor. And what is accountability? Is when someone else is expecting you to do something. So we tend to think about that when someone is expecting something from us, and that's not always necessarily positive. That can make us feel obliged to do stuff that we don't actually want to do. But what I'm talking now is you decide you want to do something, and then you have an accountability partner, or you have someone, or you find a way, and there's a lot of creative ways of building accountability that you will feel that you have to go and do what you committed yourself to doing. So for instance, coming here and doing this, I know I keep telling myself that someone is gonna ask me and someone's gonna send me a message if I don't show up. Something happened actually yesterday. I write with hashtags Dear Monday and Dear Friday. And I wasn't very constant on writing that. And then yesterday I wasn't writing at all because I was very tired. And in the Netherlands it's a holiday the Monday after Easter. So yesterday I wasn't going to write at all, and then I saw on Twitter that someone that saw me and retweeted me, they wrote their own piece of hashtag Dear Monday, and that made me feel accountable of, oh, I'm doing something, and that can be nice, and I can just go and do something very simple. I don't need to do very sophisticated. So I was on the couch, I just wrote something like very randomly, and I ended up doing it. So I think my time is almost over. So before I finish, just a little piece of reflection for today is, if you're not showing up to something, what are you afraid of, perhaps? How will you feel when you get that thing done? And how can you make sure you're actually going to do that? What are the people who can make you get that done? And here for me, it's to seeing all of you joining, even if it's for 2 seconds. So I'm very happy to do that. My time is up. So I'll see you next time. If you had a good time listening, and I hope you did, and if you had any insight from it, if it made you think of someone, please share this episode with your friends and with your network. You can also leave a comment or a review wherever you're listening to this, or send me an email for carol@thebetterachiever.com. Your support is massively important for small and independent content creators like yours truly. There's more information and new content about burnout recovery and prevention, overachievement, creativity, and other stuff that goes through my mind at thebetterachiever.com or instagram.com/thebetterachiever. The theme song is played by Josh Woodward from freemusicarchive.org. I am Carol Miltersteiner, signing off the Better Achiever sessions for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope to have you again soon. Enjoy your day.